the thing that kept me from getting on a call for months was I was so embarrassed. I knew how to move my body. I knew how to teach others how to move my body. But what I was severely lacking in, which I didn't realize at the time, was mindset.
Welcome to the Hidden Summit podcast. My name is Kevin Valance and I will be your host. On this podcast, we're going to talk about fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and everything in between. If you find anything valuable in this episode, the only thing I'm ever going to ask you to do is subscribe so you can keep coming back and elevate your life to become better every single day. All right, welcome back to the Hidden Summit podcast. We have another guest on today. Kelly Leiseth, welcome to the podcast. I'm going to get right into it. Kelly, you're a member of Hidden Summit. You've been here a while and you have a story to tell. I know that since I get to work with you regularly, that you're doing amazing things. And I have so many questions that I want to ask you that you can help some listeners go through from your personal perspective of what you've been through and even what you do professionally. I think there's a lot of carryover in the communication side of things and how different ways to communicate with different people to lead to different results matters. And that is not shared enough. So welcome to the show. How the hell are you today? We were just talking that you had a crazy Wednesday morning, but it's Wednesday evening now. So how are we doing?
Much better now that it's Wednesday evening, that's for sure. But other than that, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I love it. Yeah. How do you feel? Are you excited to talk today? You even started some podcasting of your own, so I hear. So
hopefully, yeah.
Hey, there's no hope. We're just going to dive right into it. Just post that shit. I want you guys to do it and have some fun with it. And really, if you connect with one person, that's all that matters. Yeah. Right. And that's how these things start. There's no hope. Like you and Jen have a great conversational piece going, I'm sure. And I'm excited to hear it myself. So yeah, you're a member of Hidden Summit. Okay. Remind me, how long have you been with us at Hidden Summit?
Yeah, it's been just over a year. I think January 4th is my official start date of last year. So 2023. So just over a year right now.
Okay. And I always like to check in with everybody how they got here. So January 3rd of last year, what was going through your mind to say that you probably had the call booked at that point or that was your start date? So like before you got on the call and spoke with someone on our team, what was going through your head that this is something that you were interested in?
Yeah, it took me a long time. I did a lot of stalking with the background. I'm just going to keep looking at the web page and I kept feeling drawn to it. And I didn't really understand why, because I had tried, you name it, in the past over the last 10, 15 years. You name the diet, you name the trend, whatever. I tried it. The biggest one, I had lost 50 pounds in 6 months. And so that's what I was used to, the quick thing, let's do this and see how fast we can get there and see these results. And so I was following the social media, looking at the webpage. I just had the tab open on my phone for months.
It's like when you save something in your cart and you're like, I think I want to buy this, but I'm not going to do it today.
Yeah, that's just it. And then I'd close the tab out and I'm like, no, not right now. I can't do this right now like this. But then I'd open it again 2 days later. And so there was just something that kept drawing me in, and I felt propelled to go down this path with Hidden Summit because what you guys do is different, right? I had known all about the fitness side of things. I actually taught physical education for a couple of years, and then taught fitness classes, taught weightlifting. I knew that piece of it. And so the thing that kept me from getting on a call for months was I was so embarrassed. I knew how to move my body. I knew how to teach others how to move my body. But what I was severely lacking in, which I didn't realize at the time, was mindset and nutrition. I'm still it's been a year and 2 months, and I still go to my coach. I'm like, I got to have a bun today with butter. And to meet my macros, I had 2 buns. And I'm just like, this so blows my mind that I can eat food that I enjoy. And so then when I finally did get on a call, I was like, I am so desperate right now because I feel like this is where I've been lacking, where I've been missing these other pieces, because I'd last 2 weeks and then I wouldn't be perfect. So then I'd quit, or I'd start again on Monday.
And I'm sure that's something that some listener out there has heard or felt or gone through before. All of it, right? Going from the you're on a roll and one mistake is made and then boom, you're just like, oh, I failed. I quit. I can't do this anymore. It's over. My world is falling apart. Probably feelings that you have actually had before.
Yes.
And the fact that you shared that you had the knowledge, had the information, and understood that this will work, but you didn't have the ability to make a decision and then or see yourself doing it or then take action is quite normal. If like even most people don't have the information when they come in, and that's one hurdle to climb. But if you are fully aware and have taught people how to weight train, and isn't it weird to say physical education instead of phys ed? Like I saw you think about that. It's just totally I was like, what is it called? It's phys ed, right? You've taught that before, right? You're able to put that into context to help other people. But when it comes to helping yourself, this mindset piece, was that what was like pulling you back to the page? What are they talking about? What is it that I don't have? Because I think you do have a strong mindset when it comes to like your profession and helping other people, but it's something when it comes to putting yourself first that you needed to work on, and you took a chance to do that, right?
Yeah, 100%. It was the whole mindset piece of I thought I had to be perfect to be successful. And through all the discussions and calls and just looking at mindset and really shifting that, that's what makes it different. And that's why I've seen the success over the last year and 2 months, 14 months. We'll go with that.
Yeah, we'll go, let's say just over a year. So at the end of the day, when it comes to that initial month, making those changes, implementing those thoughts into actions, I'm going to guess it has not been a perfect year. So what was it along the way where you were able to pivot from, oh, I messed up and now I have to quit, to I'm going to keep going?
I'm not, excuse me, I'm not sure that there was a super pivotal moment other than I hit so I'm a farmer's wife, and we hit spring. And it was one of the most intense springs that we've had in a long time for planting. And I was unable, just due to a lot of things, to do the things that I wanted to do for 3 weeks straight. So I couldn't control my environment the way I wanted to and had been for the last 4 months when I first started. But I was able to make huge mindset gains during that time. And I think that was the biggest turning point of, oh my gosh, I didn't gain 50 pounds back in 3 weeks. I didn't lose all my strength. I stayed on point with my nutrition. I worked so hard on mindset during that time. And it was like a huge eye opening of, you always say the infinite game of 3 weeks is but a blink. And so
Yeah,
it's like that time that just really nailed it home of how much this controls the rest of this.
absolutely. Train the mind and the body will follow. Train the body and the mind's going to be more eager to keep up. It goes both ways. You can't have this dream life, reach this pinnacle of what it is that you want without the mindset. And honestly, if you're not physically fit, do you really have your dream life? I don't know, maybe, but most of the people I talk to don't feel that way. I'm curious. Talk to a farmer's wife, the wife of a farmer. What type of things are we doing during spring? I'm a city kid. I have no idea. Please entertain me and the audience because I have no idea. I can guess, but I'd rather you explain it.
Yeah. So I was a farm kid growing up. Okay. So that life, we had livestock and small grain. That life was completely different than now, where we just have small grain. We have beets, beans, and sugar beets. So soybeans, beans, soy, white beans, wheat, and sugar beets. And even that is completely different than including livestock. So like growing up, it was doing chores early morning, late at night, feeding cattle, that kind of stuff, doing a lot of physical labor. And now it's running to the fields, giving field rides, transporting equipment, that kind of stuff. That's my role anyways. But yeah, it's a lot of just waiting on the weather and hoping it doesn't rain, and then hoping that it does rain when we need the rain.
Right. Right.
But yeah, it's just a lot of back and forth and running around on my end.
So,
They
so
don't
in,
trust me with large equipment.
but you want to drive it. You want to work the machinery, I'm sure.
Someday, but
You
it's
could,
literally now it's just push a button and
oh,
just sit.
really? Yeah. Got it. Fun. Yeah. Gotta love technology. So that busy season, right? You were just being pulled to do more with the farm, I'm imagining.
Mhm.
And that can run parallel to anybody in their busy season or in a season where they need to be flexible. And what the message I'm hearing here is you learned how to bend but not break because you were able to control the controllable, what you and Brooke, your coach, would work on. But then understand that, like, in a season of life, it doesn't mean it's over. You said earlier, this is an infinite game, and you are the wife of a farmer, and you are going to have these things happen from time to time. So we might as well figure it out right now so we don't have to fucking worry about it when it happens again.
Mhm.
Because it's like Christmas or New Year's or a birthday or summer or vacation. Those things will happen. But if we don't learn how to be flexible and understand how to make the right decisions for ourselves based on where we are and where we want to be, how the heck are we ever going to get through more than 2 weeks at a time, 30 days at a time? Because those days are coming. And I love that that clicked. And maybe it wasn't this instant moment of this is where it's going to happen, but you had it in the season to say, okay, I'm going to continue, I'm going to move forward. So I'm curious, you're not just the wife of a farmer, you're the mother of farmers' children will play along with this. How many
Mhm.
children do you have?
I have 3 human kids
Human.
and then 2 fur kids.
Oh
So
my
we
God,
have
can't leave out the fur babies. What
oh,
type of
no,
animals do you have?
just
Pups?
2 dogs. Yep.
Yeah, good. We don't like cat people. Sorry.
No, we don't
Oh,
care for
cat people,
cats.
you're fine, but we're not cat people. Definitely dog people over here. Awesome. And yeah, you have the farm, you're working on your health, you're playing mom along the way. I'm sure that doesn't take up any of your time. And then you also work, right? So and congratulations, you just got a huge promotion. Love that for you. Also an entrepreneur, right? You have so many different things going on. So we can go down so many rabbit holes and I would love to talk about all of them. I just think like what I want to learn today, I'm going to inquire. I'm going to brush the dust off this rock and see what's underneath it is the passion that you found in your job, which will open the door for you to get this promotion. Let's discuss that. Like, how did you get to the career that you're in and education? And you're there a while. What brought you there, and what is it that you created and that you're working on creating your own passion project to continue to help the system, which is
Yeah,
fucked, if you ask me.
there's a
She didn't
lot
say
of
that. I did.
I was gonna say there's a lot of change that needs to occur, yes. Yeah, so I started my originally, I wanted to be an athletic trainer because I was like, I'm super interested in, like, muscles and how they work and all those things, and then but I also wanted to coach. And then they're like, "Well, you can't really be the AT and be the coach at the same time." I was like, "Huh, I never thought about that." But you could be a Phy Ed teacher, phys ed, if you want to coach. I was like, "Well, that sounds like a good idea. Anybody should do that, right?"
Yeah, I love gym.
And so it started down that path. But at that time in education, you couldn't find a job anywhere. Like the competition was so incredibly fierce. I had interviewed at that time in 11 different school districts and got a part time job at the one farthest away from where I lived. And so then they're like, hey, if you go back to school, we'll give you a full time job in special education. And I was young and dumb. And I was like, that sounds like a really good idea. Let's do it. So I went down that road, and that led me to working with residential care and treatment students. And these are the tough kids, right? These are the toughest of the tough. Like they're sent to the facility for a reason. And at that point, I had exhausted all my toolbox tools, like trying to help these kids be successful in their programming. And what I was doing wasn't helping. And so I had attended this conference in the fall of 2018. And one of the sessions was rethinking challenging behavior. So I was like, oh, why not? I can't hurt. And this guy started talking, and he had navy suit, pink bow tie. And I'm like, "God, guy, like, why am I listening to you?" But the more he kept talking, he just, the light bulbs went off in my head. I'm like, this is what I'm missing. And it's really focusing on looking at behavior is people are lacking skills in a certain area because people would behave well if they could. They don't choose to behave badly. And so that has just really opened the door the last 5 years. And recently I became the second person in the state of Minnesota to have the highest level of credentials that opened again the door for me to start my own business and earn this promotion of really looking at rethinking challenging behavior and teaching others about it too.
I think it's incredible. And I love how you laughed like you were young and dumb, like we all make mistakes. But it wasn't, because everything happens for a reason. Like at the time, you're, oh, why did I do this? And maybe, was there a point along the way where you maybe thought you were going to give it up? You're like, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Or did you always? Okay.
No, there was like, I'm only going to do special ed for 5 years. That was my plan. I was just going to do it 5 years. And then I ended up doing it for 10.
Yeah. Everybody's got a 5-year plan until it crashes and burns.
Yeah.
But you're here today, right? So there are a lot of people, and I don't want to like brush over that. There are a lot of people who might just throw in the towel after the 5-year mark, if they're that, or 10 years, right? If you're giving it up. But you found, when did you listen to this person speak? Like earlier on?
Yeah. It was about 5 years ago.
Right.
6 going on 6 now.
All right. So 5 years ago, going on 6, you listen to it, you start to develop this mindset. I'm interested if, because everybody wants to know, when you started to apply these new principles in behavioral theory and skill work to, because people understand what the skills are, they just aren't capable of doing them. So similar to coaching, which is something that you wanted to do, something that I do all the time. Like you understand that eating and nutrition is going to help your body change in a certain way, but like you don't actually apply it. So now what do I have to do? I have to learn how you operate so I can meet you halfway, communicate with you in a way that matters, and then make a proper decision to get one win. And that feels really good. So maybe we do that again. So talk to me about applying this in children, students, young minds, adolescents. When did you start to see this theory working and go in and get this higher education and want to start your own business on it?
Yeah, I saw the biggest change of when I changed my mindset of they're choosing to behave like this. And when I fully embrace the philosophy of they're doing the best that they can with the skills that they have, that's when things completely changed. And just having that factor and going into situations with empathy versus going in with they're out to get me, they're doing this to me on purpose, all these things, that's when it was the biggest flip for me. And then you build those skills based off of the empathy that you showed in the first place.
I love that. And through that, you shared with me, I don't know if you have them memorized and ready to go, but you shared with me at one point stats from putting these principles into practice and practicing these, taking action on these principles with these schools and students. Like what were some of the big stats? Like the removal rate went down, grades went up. How would you track these metrics?
Yeah, prior to me going through this training in the residential care and treatment program where we take up to 14 males ages 12 to 18. At that point, we had a 40% removal rate. So something would happen on school grounds where they would have to be removed either by law enforcement or completely removed from the program itself. And then 2 years into my training, my application of this information, we went from a 40% removal rate to less than 3% removal rate. And we have not had a removal on school grounds now in the last 2.5 years.
Wow, incredible. And what's the average from the state of Minnesota? I would imagine is what you would know more of, but do you have any net removal rate metrics?
It's about 50%. Whenever a person enters a program, it's about 50% success rates.
Wow. So this is needed elsewhere, all over, most places. Got it. And now your business, what's it called? The name of it?
Yeah, it's KJL Consulting.
There you go. KJL Consulting. Nice and easy to remember. And your goal with this is to take this and teach or implement or both.
Both, really, because we know that if we just take knowledge and we don't apply it, then it's just useless. And so my goal is really in the whole tri-state area because I'm right on the edge of Minnesota. So Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, to bring collaborative problem solving to, excuse me, really the whole tri-state area with all the school districts. My goal, my dream is all the school districts. So then the whole tri-state area.
I love it. Put that on a vision board. Let's go. I'm about it. Also,
Yep.
I didn't know there was another. I thought New York had the only tri-state area. This is like tri-state of Fargo right now that I'm learning about this. You are in like Fargo country where they made the series, right?
Yes.
You're right
Yes,
there.
I am.
Does all that stuff actually happen? Like the Sioux Falls massacre, is that a real thing?
Sure. I
You
don't know.
don't know? I'm gonna go with yes because it was a crazy show. Awesome. I love this because it's early days, right? What I'm trying to say is that 5 years ago you were like, I'm calling it quits, and here we are 6 years, like 5 6 years later, where you're like, no, we have a plan to put this into place to lower this removal rate. And what does that do in your mind? What does that do for the adolescents, the 12 to 18-year-olds who are here, who don't want to be here, right, in the first place, or in any education system, I would imagine? And then what does that do for the students?
Yeah, it can completely change their whole life trajectory because they've been told for many years, if not their entire life, that they are unreachable. So they just get bounced from place to place. And this is an opportunity for somebody to reach them and help them down the path for them to be successful.
Amazing. Yeah, and everything happens with consistency, repetition. I also think that education is an infinite game. Sure, as school ends, but you never have to stop learning. And if you can add that in someone's life when they least expect it, or actually go from not wanting it to wanting it, what can that do for somebody down the line in
Yep.
20, 30 years? That's an incredible task, mission that you have, and I'm excited for you. Let's not forget, you did get a promotion, and now you are, if I'm not mistaken, the assistant superintendent for an entire school system. Am I messing that title up?
I was gonna say, not that
Well,
fancy.
well,
Dean of students at our
dean of students.
elementary.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So kick ass, take names, run the show, get after it. I love that. So lots going on, and I want to bring this full circle before we wrap it up. And I do want to talk to you again. There's so many more avenues we can go down, but you in the last year really have taken off and started developing this business, right? Clients, website, marketing, content, and we'll get to where everybody can find you in a moment so they can learn with you, right? And apply this. You're a mom, you have a farm, that a operating farm that works. You just got a new job. So that comes with all of these different stresses. What is it that you are focusing on, or how are you organizing your time to focus on yourself and your goals? Because you still want to get fit, you still want to keep that mental head game strong. I don't, I haven't even asked you like how much progress you've made so far. I'm curious to learn about that here too. So, what are you doing to make this thing, all this work?
Right now, just really focusing on this current season and knowing that this season isn't going to be the rest, if that makes sense. As in, right now, my non negotiables are getting movement in 4 days a week. And sometimes that's getting up early. Sometimes that's asking my husband, I just need 30 minutes. Can I just go and do 30? So having that partnership with him, but that's my water, getting my water every single day because I feel like garbage if I don't. And then making sure I don't eat garbage because when I'm stressed, I reach for quick and easy and salty. And really just setting up once a month, I do a huge amount of meal prep and I set myself up for the month. So I literally just grab and heat. So that's what I'm
Oh,
doing right
love part of
now.
the meal prep. So
Mhm.
walk me through that because I've never even attempted that with
Yeah.
breakfast. So I'm curious right now.
Oh, yeah. So, like, I do super simple. Like, breakfasts are just like breakfast bowls. So, hash browns, turkey sausage, cheese, a tiny little bit of bacon because bacon is life. And lunch is usually some sort of like right now, my favorite thing to grab is a chicken bacon ranch pasta. It's literally like just a hunk of chicken breast with ranch seasoning and a couple ounces of chicken and bacon again, or a
There
couple
we go.
ounces of pasta, I should say. And then supper is where I give myself a little bit of freedom just because if I ate that much repetition, I'd probably go a little bit crazy. But yeah, I just literally every day just grab those things and I have breakfast and lunch set up for a month. So
Yeah. Lacey and I have become big fans of Just Meats.
mm,
I don't know if you tried them yet, but it keeps it
yes.
really interesting where you can like have Hawaiian beef one night, or you can have slow cooked pulled pork another night, like plain chicken breast if that's what you need at that point in the day. And it's helped us like because we eat the same thing. We have the same breakfast every day. We'll have a protein shake after we train. We'll have a midday meal doing this, like, talk to me about your progress. Like, not mentally, but like, how do you feel? And what have you seen change over the last 12 months, 14 months, being accurate?
Yeah, and I should mention that I fought Coach Brooke on it on meal prepping for a good 6 months. So I've only been doing meal prep for probably 4 months. But then once I realized, oh, I can already pre-plan out my macros and know that I'm going to hit them perfectly almost every single day. So
Weird. Oh,
I know,
holy
right?
shit.
Like I can manipulate this to my advantage. Amazing. Yeah, progress wise, it's been incredible. Just looking back, I'm a big fan of reflection. And last week when we were doing test week, deadlifts, when I first started, I'm terrible at math. I hate math and I'm so bad at it. And I count on my fingers and I'm not embarrassed about that because it's so bad. When I first started lifting, because at first I just started like walking using an elliptical type thing because I didn't have the equipment or the capability to use a whole bunch of weight. And so we took it super light and easy to begin with just to get in a rhythm to get started. But when I first started lifting about mid March, so about this time last year, I, I had just had a set of dumbbells, the adjustable dumbbells,
Mhm.
which are like my favorite things. They're so versatile, but my goal was to deadlift 40 pounds with my dumbbells. And so I flipped the dials on each of them to 40, not thinking that, oh, if I put 40 in one hand and 40 in another hand, that's not 40 together, that's 80.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing it and it was so painful and it felt so wrong. And I couldn't figure out what I was doing until later on. I was like, wow, I am so bad at math. I literally tried to do 80 when I was supposed to only do 40, and this is terrible. Anyways, so the point of this is last week during test week, I managed to hit 170 on my
Wow.
deadlift. So
All
I'm
right.
like over 100 in roughly a year. I was like, this is super cool when before I could barely do 80 pounds.
I love that. And I'm guessing you don't have 170-pound dumbbells. You found a barbell somewhere along the way. Just so
Yes.
people are not picturing, like, what does a 170-pound dumbbell look like? They probably exist. Rogue makes everything. But congrats. That's awesome. Like,
Yep.
from not being able to do it, not the math side of it, but lift the weight, putting yourself in a position to see that progress happen over time. And really, I want to share with everybody else who's listening that are going to start in a place where you feel like garbage about what it is you're doing. And you can find the little wins, right? Because you didn't go from 10-pound dumbbells to 40-pound dumbbells. You probably went from 10 to 15 to 15 to 20 and 20 to 25. And maybe you went from 25 to 35 because you felt good that day. But then you got to 40s and you're like, oh my God, I'm actually living too much. And you step back and then you go again. And now you're at 170 pounds for a deadlift, which is amazing in a year. So this is progressive overload. This is progress over time. And this is playing that infinite game while, mind you, dealing with the stresses of life and dealing with spring season as a farmer's wife and being a mom and building your own business and launching a new career now. So we are in this season. Before we go, I need to know, what is it that you want to accomplish in this season? We'll say we got a month left in the quarter. What are you working on right now? And what are you excited to tell everybody about?
Oh gosh, there's
So
15
many things.
things. I was going to say, if I could narrow my focus, that would probably help me more.
I have an
um,
idea for that. Before you
y-
go, I have an idea. Maybe this will help you. And I saw this on a post the other day, and I just spoke with one of my coaches about it. I was like, hey, she had the same thing. She's like, I have so many things I want to do, and I don't feel like I'm getting all these things done. I was like, all right, oh, cool. Write everything down on a piece of paper, like literally 1 through 20, like all the things you want to accomplish this year. And then one of them is going to stand out more than the others. So you're going to look at them all, and then you're just going to circle that one. When you circle that one, then you're going to go to the next page of paper, and you're going to write that on the top. And then you're going to write down 20 things that you can do to get that one thing done. And you're not going to start the next one until that thing is done, because that's how we can become super focused. Because I'm the same way. I have a million things I want to do right now with life and Hidden Summit and my business and my health and media and the podcast and all of these different things. I can't do it all. So how do we do one at a time? So what are like the top 3 that you want to take on?
Yeah. Excuse me. The biggest one that I've been focusing on most recently is working on my public speaking, because when I go and train other people, I want to make sure that I'm somebody they want to listen to, right? And so that's been my biggest focus, and really getting those reps and practices.
Practice.
Yeah, I was like,
Talking
this is
about
not coming.
practice. That's why we're here. It's all good. Like, you're a human being. We fuck up all the time. You've heard me speak more than most people. I never get it right. So you're doing great.
Here I am talking about public speaking, and then I can't even say words. So that's one of my big goals, is to have at least one speaking engagement per month for the next, what are we, February? So the next
Yeah.
10 months.
Awesome. You've had 2 already this year.
Yep.
All right. I love that. And you're probably like nervous after the first one and a little less nervous on the second one. And now we're going to go for one a month. So goals, people, like, let's go chase your dreams. And if you got one more thing, what is it that we're working on?
Yeah, I really want to hit 225 in my deadlift, like soon. Because I was like, I feel like I was so close. And then I didn't have an end goal for test week. Because I didn't know what I was capable of. I was like, I feel like 200 was so close, and 225 is not that far away. So that's my next big goal for that.
I love it. I think that's awesome. And stick with me during this next cycle. I am wicked sore, and I'm on day 2 of this new cycle. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to get super strong. We are going to make this happen. It's going to be a 2-phase cycle. So we're going to do 6 weeks and then a deload week. And then we're going to do 6 more weeks picking up where we left off to build to my favorite challenge of the year, Jack by July. So we
won Jack by July last year, so I'm ready.
We'll see. I'm coming back. We're gonna have some fun. Awesome. Kelly, I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you have a family to get to and work to get to and business to get to. So I appreciate you spending some time with us and chatting today. Where can everybody find you on social media if they can follow along and listen to all this amazing content that you're putting out?
Yeah, on Instagram and Facebook, it's just at KJL_consulting.
Okay. I'll post that in the comments and the captions below. But Kelly, we'll do this again, I'm certain, because you have a lot of stuff going on. We have so much more to talk about. So keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate you so much. And I appreciate you coming on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll see you later.